Hi everyone, my name is Zaira and today I would like to welcome you all to Philosophy 101 Introduction to Logic. In our day-to-day life, we always make conscious choices. All of us face challenges on a daily basis which we overcome thanks to our reasoning skills. Basically speaking, the decisions that we make affect our quality of life. Hence why logic isn't only an undergrad subject, but it is something we could make good use of in the outside world. In this lesson, you will learn what is logic, why is logic important, what is critical thinking, and lastly, the difference between logic and critical thinking. Now let's talk about what really is logic. To put it broadly, logic is the general science of inference. Logic tries to tell us what is good reasoning and what is bad reasoning. More specifically, when we study the correct processes of thinking or reasoning, we are necessarily dealing with arguments. Hence, in logic, we primarily deal with the principles that govern the validity of arguments. That is, whether a certain conclusion follows from the given premises or assumptions. Let us now consider the example that follows. If you work at Google, you've aced a logic test. Bren works at Google. Therefore, Bren aced a test in logic. The arguments above are obviously valid arguments because their conclusions necessarily follow from the premises. If the premises are true, then the conclusion must be true for the argument to be valid. However, there are more complicated arguments whose validity cannot be determined by simply looking at them. These arguments require a thorough analysis before we can say that they are indeed valid or not. Did you know that logic is one of the oldest intellectual disciplines in human history? It actually dates back to Aristotle, and he is the father of logic. Now we are done talking about what is logic. Let us move on as to why is logic important. Logic is arguably one of the most fundamental subjects underpinning our knowledge of the world. First, it enforces critical thinking. When using critical thinking, you seek out information, not settling for what is given. Second, it teaches deductive reasoning, such as the difference between reason and fallacy. For example, while it may be true that all rich people have money, it is not true that all people who have money are rich. Third, it enhances problem solving and decision-making skills. Logical thinking is the act of analyzing a situation and coming up with a sensible solution. Similar to critical thinking, logical thinking requires the use of reasoning skills to study a problem objectively, which will allow you to make a rational conclusion about how to proceed. When you use the facts available to you to address a problem you may be facing at work, for example, you are using logical reasoning skills. A scientific argument uses evidence to make a case for whether a scientific idea is accurate or inaccurate. Hence why logic is necessary for testing and proving scientific hypotheses. We are done talking about what is logic and its importance. Let us now talk about critical thinking. In school, you may be instructed to justify, reason, argue, critically appraise, analyze, or evaluate certain topics by your teacher or your professor. Actually, such instructions provide you with the opportunity to engage your critical spirit and practice your skills in critical thinking. Basically, critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally about what to do or what to believe. It includes the ability to engage in reflective and independent thinking. Although critical thinking skills can be used in exposing fallacies and bad reasoning, critical thinking can also play an important role in cooperative reasoning and constructive tasks. Also, critical thinking can help us acquire knowledge, strengthen arguments, and improve our theories. We can use critical thinking to enhance work processes and improve social institutions. We are now finally through with critical thinking. Let us now tackle the last and final topic of this lesson, which is the difference between logic and critical thinking. Logic is basically a normative theory of how humans should reason. It follows a correct process of thinking and reasoning. On the other hand, critical thinking is a course on how humans actually reason. See the difference there? Logic focuses on the shoulds, while critical thinking focuses on the actual reasoning. It also focuses on descriptive theories, and critical thinking is also known as informal logic. The two are closely associated, but in the end, logical reasoning is a result of a skilled critical thinking. And that's it for the difference between logic and critical thinking. We are now at the end of our first lesson, so I would like to congratulate you all for finishing this video. Please stay tuned for our next topic, which is the divisions of logic. I sincerely hope you guys have learned something from this lesson, and I will see you all next time. Bye!